What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. So there's been some really big news in the sport of CrossFit and just the CrossFit world that happened really recently. Now I wanted to give it a couple days before I made a video just so as much information can come out, so I'm not just kind of saying stuff and then more stuff is coming out. What recently happened was, so CrossFit at most of their competitions, right, regionals and the games, they test a lot of people that if they do really well, or I think they just do random tests, like drug tests for steroids, right? And what has just come out recently is there was an article that CrossFit posted that it has like 10 different people that have basically popped for using steroids or using performance enhancing drugs. So PEDs, just things that are not allowed in the sport that anyone that's competing knows that you shouldn't be using. And there's been a couple of really big names, 2 really big names and 3 other people that were on teams that were planning on going to the games that are now no longer going to the games. So here's the list that we have right here, and the first thing you're going to notice, obviously probably the biggest name that's on this list, definitely the biggest name that's on this list, is Emily Abbott. She actually got first place here at the regionals that I was at, the rest regionals. And then we have Dean Shaw, who was on a team in the Meridian, the second place team, Lauren Shaver, who was on the third place South team, and then Laura Hosier, who was on the East team in third place, Maria Ceballos, probably saying that wrong, she got first place in the actual Latin American team regional, and then Audrey Gannon, who was actually fourth place, one of the guys from Russia that made it from the Europe regional. And then on top of that, there's a ton of other people that, were just competing at regionals that didn't make it to the games, but that also got popped for using PEDs. Now I'm going to link the article so you guys can read it for yourself, but it says that all of the athletes have already actually previously been notified that they were in violation of the banned substances, and they all appealed that decision, and then all of those appeals were denied. So this was already something that was kind of going on behind the scenes. The athletes knew it was happening. They said, no, this is what actually was going on. And CrossFit still looked it all up and they said, no, you're definitely like in violation of this, and that's when they released this statement. So the biggest person again on this list is Emily Abbott, and she actually released a statement on her Instagram that says, I am beyond disappointed and frustrated that the organization I have dedicated so much of my life to has basically ignored my explanation for my inadvertent exposure to ibutamoren, I don't know how to say that. I have proudly represented the sport as an advocate of clean eating and healthy lifestyle. I would never knowingly take any banned substance. I strongly disagree with this unfair decision, and I will be exploring my options. So basically her excuse is that she didn't know that she took this drug, so it shouldn't be her fault that it was in her system. And that's kind of almost whenever you see an athlete that gets popped, most people aren't like, yeah, I took it, you got me, dang. It's almost always that's the explanation, right? I didn't know that I was taking it. And even that could be completely true, right? Like I wouldn't doubt that that's happened to a lot of people, but I really believe that if CrossFit or whatever sport is going to be how you're going to make all your money, that is your job, you should do everything in your power to make sure that you're not going to sabotage that. And so that's her excuse, right? I didn't know that I was taking it. So I wanted to look up what this drug was, and so I went on Wikipedia, and it says ibutamoren is a potent, long-acting, orally active, so it's like a pill, selective and non-peptide antagonist of the ghrelin receptor and growth hormone secretoge, I don't know, mimicking the growth hormone stimulating action of androgynous hormone ghrelin. And I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly what all that is, because I don't. But it sounds like it's pretty intense, and I doubt that that would be like in some random pre-workout or some random protein powder that you were taking. So for me, it's kind of hard to think of how is that accidentally getting into your system? That's the question that I have. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and say you definitely did it, but I'm just curious, how does something that sounds so crazy like that end up in your supplements, or how does that happen? That's the question that I have. When people say that I think everyone at the games is on steroids, the only way you can make it to the games is to be on steroids, I personally, I don't believe that, and maybe that makes me naive, but I feel like that you can work really, really hard, and some people, obviously genetics is a huge part of it, but I don't think that everyone's on steroids. But I will say that I think that a lot of people probably are, just seeing how much the games have changed in the past 5 years that they've been around. I can't even imagine what it's like to train for the games. I can't even imagine the amount of volume that you have to go through, you know, like, and then whenever there's money involved, whenever the sport is like, I want to win because I want to win money, and like, this will help my family, this will help me, you know, all of that stuff, like, cheating happens. And I mean, it's just, with any sport, right? Like literally any sport, there are performance enhancing drugs. They are inside of the sport. It's just how it is. And so like to say like, I don't think anybody's on steroids and these people are terrible, I don't believe that. And then there's the other thing when, like whenever somebody gets caught for steroids, I feel like, this might be just an American thing, but for some reason people here, it's like, you think of that person as this terrible human being that is literally the worst scum on the earth. And like, for me, like obviously a lot of people that are on steroids have probably done it a bunch of times, right? They've made that decision to do that a bunch of times, but usually there's other things that have led them to feel like they need to do that, and they've probably worked really hard and they feel like they just need that extra edge, so they've kind of been backed into a corner. Again, I'm not trying to say that it's like okay to do steroids, because I think it's messed up and I don't think it's right, but I don't think it makes you a really terrible person, and you shouldn't be like persecuted and treated like absolute garbage because you made a really, really bad decision. But those are just my thoughts. Honestly, like, there's gonna be steroids, but I know for me, I'm gonna continue training, and I'm gonna continue loving to work out, and I'm gonna continue watching these amazing athletes do amazing things with their bodies. So for me, I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world for me. But again, those are just my thoughts. But with that being said, I need to change because we are training today with no steroids. I promise. Okay, so we're at the gym now, and we're starting the workout with, we have running conditioning. Hey! So, we have every 5 minutes for 20 minutes, we have an 800-meter run. Are you excited to run 2 miles?
Kind of, yeah. Yep. Oh, look, we're sharing a whiteboard.
Yep.
That's very cute. Should I put a heart on it? Aww.
Are you gonna row today or run?
Not running.
I
wish
row?
I could run, but I'll row. I think I'm better at rowing than running.
I think we all are.
What was that?
Water.
Every 5 minutes for 20 minutes. That's 4 sets. There's two different things on there. 600 and there's 800. So this is not 20 minutes of running. There's supposed to be rest. So if you know that you can't get 800 meters under 4 minutes fresh, your second, third, fourth set is going to be really hard. 11, 12. 3, 2, 1.
Running is hard.
Thank you.
One. Two. Looks good? Yeah, looks good. Three. Keep that chest up. One. Last one. Stay tight. Chest up. Good job. That workout, right after running those 2 miles, that was really hard. That was one of the harder workouts we've ever done here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you a monkey?
No!
You being a monkey over here? You're crazy. Who's more sweaty, me or Grandma?
That one.
I am. I knew it.